In this video, we are going to take a look at the University of Kentucky women's basketball. They obviously made a statement that they want to get serious about their basketball in Kentucky with the signing of Kenny Brooks, as well as a recent upgrade of their facilities. The question is, are they ready to compete in the SEC this year, or will it be a slow build? We will take a look at where Kentucky is at heading into the 24-25 women's basketball season. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. All right, let's get into this. Obviously, the hiring of Kenny Brooks was a big deal for Kentucky and shows how serious they are getting about their basketball, as they spent $7.7 million on a 5-year contract. Now, in the press conferences, Brooks said that he was drawn to Kentucky as it was just such a fantastic opportunity, as he feels like it's a sleeping giant. With the Kentucky name and brand combined with the fact that they're now going to spend on women's basketball, which is outlined by his contract. Now, he didn't say that, but as well, they've invested in their facilities. They renovated the Memorial Coliseum, which was $82 million, which upgraded the locker rooms and training facilities and the coaches' offices. So it's clear Kentucky is going to put their resources behind basketball, and the hiring of Kenny Brooks is a no-brainer, as he's won everywhere he's gone. He was at James Madison for 14 years. He only had one losing season, which was his second year, where he went 13-18, and then he went to obviously Virginia Tech, and it was a slow, steady build, which culminated in a run to the Final Four in the 22-23 season. They got eliminated last year in the Sweet 16, but obviously their hopes were very much hindered when Kitley went down with her ACL injury. And now the obvious question is, can Kenny Brooks win in the SEC, the toughest basketball conference in the country? And if so, how long will it take? Will the rebuild time be minimized by the transfer portal? Now, early indications were yes, as he got Brooks Amoore to follow him over, as well as Clara Strack, who filled in admirably when Kitley was down with her knee injury. She was a freshman last year, has a lot of potential, so both of those players followed him over. In addition, he got Lexi Blue, a 6'2 guard who was set to go to Virginia Tech under Brooks. He got her to flip to Kentucky. She was rated number 40 in the ESPN rankings, and it was clear that these three were going to be the start of the new Kenny Brooks culture. The main thing with Amoore, bringing in an experienced point guard that knows how to run his system. But as always, the portal taketh and giveth, so they actually lost some players, Asia Petty, Maddie Schur, to name a few, but the big headline was that Amoore, Lexi Blue, and Clara Strack had flipped. Then he went about having some other really good quality signings, which I am going to go into, and there was really a road for Kentucky to be really, really good this year. But I think recent injuries hinders them a bit, as they just don't have the depth. So if you're not aware, they brought in grad transfer, 6'1 guard, Jordan Abbey, and she has sustained a lower leg injury and she's out indefinitely. The other portal signing I thought would have a really good impact on their team was Dominika Perova. Now, she played with Oregon State last year. She's a freshman. In the UCLA game when Regan Beers went down, she had a really good game, can drive, she can shoot. Just one of those good European players that's been well drilled. She's from the Czech Republic. Unfortunately, she sustained a knee injury over the summer. It appears, they haven't said what the injury it is, but for all money, it appears like it's an ACL, and they have listed her out indefinitely. And that's going to hurt, because all their other guards are small that they have left on their roster. They're either 5'6 or 5'8 and good shooters, but those were the two that would give you a little bit of length and play that swing between guard and forward. And they'll really need to hope that Lexi Blue develops quickly and they can depend on her. So here's what they have in the backcourt. You have Brooks Amoore at the guard, who's 5'6". Last year at Virginia Tech, she went for 18 points, 6 assists, and shot 41% from the floor and 33% from the three-point line. The question for her is, how will she adapt to the physicality of the SEC? You could point to the struggles that Haley Van Lith had at LSU, but really, I don't think that's a comparable comparison, as I think Haley Van Lith's issues were trying to fit in with LSU and their system and Kim Mulkey. Amoore's not going to have that issue, as she's going to be playing under Brooks and she knows the system. Now, the question is, who will be her running mate in the backcourt? Will it be Lexi Blue, or will she just be too raw as an incoming freshman? The other options are grad transfer Deja Lawrence, who's from Charlotte, who came in from Charlotte. She had a good year last year, averaging 18 points, 4 rebounds and 2.6 assists. It seems like she's able to slash and get to the basket. The other two options are from the roster on Kentucky last year. So one is Cassidy Rowe. She's a 5'5" junior. She averaged 17 minutes a game last year. She started 16 games. She averaged 2.6 points per game and 1 rebound. The other option is Sanaya Tyler, who's a junior as well. She is 5'6". She made 13 starts last season for Kentucky and averaged 10 points. She shot over 30% from the three-point line. She slashes well to the basket, has a nice little floater in the lane. The remaining guards on the roster are incoming freshman Tanaya Becker, who's coming from Canada. She's a 6'1" guard. The other option is Gabby Brooks, who's a 5'10" sophomore, who's Kenny Brooks' daughter, who's transferred over as well. So if Perova and Abi are out for the season, it obviously hurts. They just lose that little bit of depth and size with those two players. But the good thing is they make up for it because they're pretty big in the front court. There's obviously Clara Strack at center, so she played well in the last 5 games of the season after Kitley was out, going for 9.4 points per game, 6.8 rebounds. So she'll slot in at center. They also have another center coming in, Clara Silva from Portugal. She is 6'7". Shane Laughlin from ESPN says that if she was a U.S. player, she'd be a top 10 recruit. So it's pretty clear they're set at center. They also got transfer Tioni Key from North Carolina. She is 6'4". She's going into her junior year. I believe she was a top 10 recruit coming out of high school, but she had a knee injury her freshman year, which slowed her development down. Last season at North Carolina, she averaged 9.9 minutes per game, averaging 2.5 rebounds and points per game. She does have a bit of a face-up game, so she could be in that power forward spot or work up at the top of the key. The other forward they have is Amelia Hazett. She is originally from Albury, Australia, but has been at Eastern Florida for the last 2 years and is a grad transfer. So up front, they have pieces and options, and you can just see that they'll just slot them in and work it out over the season progresses. And I think overall that is what Kentucky will be, is a work in progress. I think their overall goal would be to finish in the top half of the SEC, see if they can make the tournament. You could see a pathway where they really improve throughout the season as Amoore and Strack continue to develop chemistry. I think generally Kenny Brooks teams get better as the season goes along, so they should be a good, fun team to watch. The other thing to keep your eye on during the season is they are in the running for Zakiya Johnson, who is rated number 7 in the 2025 class. Johnson has narrowed her schools down to 6: Louisville, Notre Dame, Kentucky, LSU, South Carolina, and USC. Her high school coach did an interview and thought that she was likely to stay local, and that sets up as a nice little turf war between Louisville and Jeff Walz and Kenny Brooks to sort of mark their territory that this is the school you want to come to if you're a Kentucky kid. So that'll be fun to watch if they can keep her out of the hands of South Carolina, LSU, or USC. In terms of where they finished in the SEC, I see around 6 or below. Like they'll be battling that middle tier, probably behind Ole Miss and sort of with Alabama, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Auburn, and Mississippi State. But the real goal for this year is just to develop and build and know you're on the right track. And you have to be thrilled if you're a Kentucky fan because your school's decided to get in the game, and with their name recognition and everything else, and with your coach, this could go really, really well. Thanks a lot for watching. Your comments, your poison, all's welcome.